So I decided to take my workout with me for the afternoon, and I love being able to do this. It's pretty amazing being able to work for yourself, work remotely, and to just up and take the phone, the laptop, whatever, and just get out into beautiful sunshine. I'm here in sunny Sofia. Been my home now for the last 4.5 years. Hard to believe already. Yeah, and I love this time of year, just coming into early July. So yeah, I love having this much agency in my life because I'm a person who doesn't do very well with hard and fast rules. I mean, I do for a certain amount of time in that I need structure to be able to do my thing, but I also don't like to be able to, or I don't like feeling unnecessarily constrained if I can avoid it. I like to pick my own constraints. And I think that's what a lot of high performers, particularly a lot of entrepreneurs and creatives, aim for within their life as well. So then it always baffles me when such individuals elect for diets that actually enforce too many restrictions, too many constraints unnecessarily on their lifestyle. So in the beginning, many diets like, I don't know, intermittent fasting, keto, cutting out carbs, etc. In the short term, they can give you back a great sense of control. And they can give you back a lot of cognitive function if you're struggling that way, if you have like distractibility, ADHD type symptoms. Those kind of diets can actually be great in the short term. And the reason for that is because you don't have any excess decisions to make. It's like when you hear of Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or any of these very successful famous entrepreneurs who have the same clothes that they wear all the time. Now, there's nothing magic about Steve Jobs's outfit or the fact that he used to eat only apples, right? In fact, there's a lot wrong with that dietary approach. But it's more about the fact that he has constraints, right? So he knows he's on autopilot. He knows what he's going to do on a given day and a given week, so that then he can give that all that decision-making power back into his business, into his work. Now, the same can benefit you when it comes to your own work with having a restrictive diet in the short term. But the thing is, the human mind is a feedback loop, right? Especially when it comes to reward, motivation, focus, all the things that are driven by the catecholamines, norepinephrine and dopamine. You need to go through times of control and then release with some reward thrown in there for the system to work properly. At least that's been my experience. And I am talking in pure bro science terms here as a coach. I am not a shrink, okay? I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a neurochemist, but I am a coach with ADHD who has had to figure out how to, leverage the power of my own really strange brain in that regard. And I've done a lot of these restrictive diets, and yeah, they've worked beautifully for me within about a 6 to 8 week window. But then anything after that, it actually just becomes depressing, and it takes more willpower to actually stick to that rigid routine with the diet then it's giving me back in terms of focus, motivation, clarity, etc. What's worked for me in the long term is flexible dieting. Okay, so that's the idea that the dose makes the poison. All right, you're eating mostly like about 80% whole nutritious food, slow digesting carbohydrates, plenty of fiber, fruits, vegetables, lean sources of protein, a great way of eating. And then you're 20% of the time you're throwing in whatever you want, you know. Last night I was out with some friends and I got some, what did I get for the main dish? I got some beef meatballs, which were beautiful because we were at a traditional Bulgarian restaurant. Had this bread, special bread that they call gypsy banitsa, I believe. That was beautiful. And then I had a side salad, right? So it's mixing the whole food with the food that's maybe, a bit questionable. And then today, I just lowered my caloric intake a little bit just to make up for quite a big meal last night, And that's how to do it, I have the constraints within my diet. I try and hit 100 grams of protein within the first 2 meals of the day, so that then if something like that comes up with a dinner with friends or something like that, that I can, jump on the opportunity and it doesn't get in the way of my physique goals It adds to my life. I can have a social life. I can, and I don't need to be weird about it, because yeah, you can have a social life if you're following a restrictive diet, but there's always comes this point where you have to explain at the table why you're not having X, Y, and Z. And it just becomes this kind of awkward topic of discussion, at least in my experience. Whereas I find with flexible dieting, there's none of that. And also now with the introduction of AI, it just makes it even easier, because last night when I'm at that restaurant, I mean, I could have, if I wanted to, like last night I didn't opt for this, but if I wanted to, I could have just scanned the menu and let ChatGPT pick for me what I could have eaten to still hit my goals. Or I could have instructed it, look, I'm going to go 400 calories over today anyway, so pick something within that, and then I'll pick up the slack tomorrow, you know. So life is all about balance. It's all about give and take. It's all about trade-offs. Don't make it too overly complicated is what I'm trying to say, because just like in your business, just like in your creative projects, there are goals, there are deadlines, but life always gets in the way and you need flexibility, otherwise the whole system breaks. If you want to learn more about how I approach having a flexible routine in my lifestyle and in the lifestyle of my clients, especially when it comes to food, then head over to the link in the description and you can download the Flexible Fat Loss Framework. This is going to show you, if you are a high performer, a creative, an entrepreneur, etc., how you can lose 10 kilos in 12 weeks without overly adapting your lifestyle. See you in the next video.